Community Motors West Side, the GM Superstore next to Cinema West. Community Motors of Mason City, we give you more.
To formally open this meeting, it's Tuesday the 27th. We have an agenda and we have 2-minute items to approve.
At this time, I'll make a motion to approve today's agenda and the minutes from December 19th and the minutes from December 21st.
Okay.
Second.
All right, the motion and second to approve the minutes or the agenda and the minutes of the 19th and a special session the 21st of December. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, new business. Or old business, I should say.
I'm not.
Okay. I guess I want to jump to the new business. And Mary, you have the floor.
Yeah, the guys are hauling rock from the stockpile down to Birchnell and getting some extra brush cutting time, so I've been pretty calm.
Where are you cutting brush at this time of year?
They're working with Josh. We're following up on some requests, and I know they've been doing a lot with Keith.
Okay.
So in the Mason City
Yep.
area. So, and then of course, as I let you guys know, Rodney will be retiring January 28th. So hopefully looking to figure out what we want to do there.
Okay.
That's about really all I have.
Pretty quiet without the snow, isn't it?
It is very quiet without the snow.
Well, saving on overtime money, that's for sure.
Why don't you sit down with Tom in the next couple of days and start figuring out just where we're at and how we need to do this?
I kind of was just discussing some of that with him right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I will certainly do that.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Well, if that's all we have for Mary, we'll be moving along to the line item under county auditors. We have a list of things, and we'll start with the claims.
I've got the claims here for your consideration
Okay.
this morning.
Mr. Chairman, at this time I'll make a motion to approve the claims and also authorize your signature where needed.
We can do this.
I'll second the claims.
All right, it's been motion and second to approve and accept and authorize the chair's signature on the claims presented this morning. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Payroll. This is the time of the year for payroll.
I have a payroll warrant report for the period ending December 17th.
Okay.
At this time, I'll make a motion to approve the payroll warrant report for December 17th.
I'll second.
Okay, so motion and second to approve the payroll warrant report as of the 17th of December. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And Sandy, would there be anything else under the payroll line?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
Drainage, we have some assessments to disperse for the said drainage districts here, so listed.
And
We'll
these are done by resolution.
Okay.
There's generally a couple of times a year, outside of some exceptions, but a couple of times a year, this being one of them, and then in May, where we'll look at the fund balances of the drainage districts and see if there's a negative balance. If there is, we'll assess to cover the negative balance and give it a little bit of a cushion, just a little bit of a positive balance.
These all require separate resolutions.
They do, and they're all prepared there for you this
Okay.
morning.
The Drainage District 7, the assessment, they'd like to have is 17,000.
1,700.
Oh,
Did I have another zero in there?
1,700,
Okay.
excuse me.
Okay.
The next one was 10,000. You got them all right there? Okay.
Let's just read off the assessment amounts.
Okay, the DD7 is 1,700, DD70 is 10,000, DD71 is 2,400, and DD31, which is the big one, lateral 9 is 2,500.
Okay.
Okay.
At this time, I'll make a motion that we do resolutions 2011 number 107 for DD7, 108 for DD70, 109 for 71, and 110 for DD 31 lateral 9.
I'll second.
All right. The motion and second in favor of the resolutions 107, 108, 109, and 110 for the said aforementioned drainage districts. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And there'll be nothing else under the line item of that, okay? Moving along to letter C here, we have a fireworks permit for a Scott Heinrichs.
Fireworks date on December 31st. Everything is in order, including insurance.
Where is his residence?
Ventura, 260th Street,
He
Ventura.
lives a mile north of where the guy that's got the airplane propellers.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He built a new house out there 4 years ago.
Move to authorize the chair's signature and approve the fireworks permit.
Second?
All right. It's been motioned and second to approve the fireworks permit for Scott Heinrichs. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, letter D, this will be a resolution to contract with the County Social Services, the 2080 Governing Board to provide crises, recovery, and transportation services at the North Iowa Juvenile Detention Service Facility. Now, I guess Bob and I could speak a little bit on the background in the mental health arena, if you will. There's always a continuing looking at cost, and this is a way we've come across to contain the cost by providing this service. And North Iowa Juvenile Detention Services facilities coming in the mix because they've got all the facilities there are kind of regulated and licensed to accept the clientele, if you will.
Well, as all of you know, that detention anymore, they're just not incarcerating people like they used to. And they're doing that with juvenile detention. And one of the ways to offset some of the cost is Bob Lincoln had come to the Juvenile Detention Center and asked about if we'd be interested in housing people with mental health problems on a temporary basis until they can find room for them and stuff like that. And it looks like a really good fit. And, you know, the board last week approved of it. Now it's up to all the members of the North Iowa Juvenile Detention Center to approve it too, which all of us needed to go back to our own boards. And I really think this is a really good idea. I hope it works. We hope to be trying it sometime towards the end of January. It takes a lot of licensing and everything else to get everything done. I was hoping to start the 1st of January. It'll probably be closer to the end of January before they get started. But at this time, I'd make a motion we do resolution 2011, number 111, to okay the use of part of the beds. We have a facility that has half. It's like 2 facilities, only there is a wall there. And we can use one side for that, and the other side will keep us pretty well filled with juveniles. So I did make that motion.
Okay.
I'd be happy to second that.
All right. Okay, with that, it's been motion and second, and we're using 2011-11 for the contract with the County Social Services 2080 Governing Board to provide crises, recovery, transportation services at the North Iowa Juvenile Detention Service Facility. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Thank you. E, authorize the chair to sign certification of cost allocation plan. And I see you have that before us.
I believe we have this completed every year. It's based on, cost allocation plan is based on actual expenditures for the year ended June 30th, 2011. And they prepare this for us every year.
The auditors.
The
Outside audit.
cost advisory services.
Okay.
So we just need to accept this. I had Heather look at it. She said everything is correct. need to accept it and you need to sign
Okay.
Motion to accept the cost allocation plan as presented, authorize the chair's signature.
Second.
Okay, been motion and second to authorize the chair to sign the certification of cost allocation plan. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, moving along, letter F, we have a manure management plan. It has to do Osage River City egg. The eggs and manure is, I guess, made in Mitchell County, but some is going to be spread in Cerro Gordo County, so we have to file.
Bob, would you give us a thorough report?
Would you
on
like
that?
me to give you the report since I'm the manure man?
it. This
Yes,
one's
you are.
huge.
This one is
This
huge.
one is like, that's the number
Yep.
of acres.
They have expanded their animal units by about 20%. They're up to 299,900 birds. They've added some fields to it. A lot of the fields, most of the fields are in Sarah County, which is a plus. We get to have the fertilizer out of this. And everything seems to be in order, and at this time I'd make a motion that we accept their manure management plan and send a
Okay.
copy to the DNR.
All right.
I'd second that.
Okay.
Chair.
All right, the motion and second to accept and put on file and forward the manure management plan to the DNR. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye. Okay. Agreements and contracts, any more than what we
No.
had?
Nothing.
No?
None?
No. Okay, appointments.
Guess that's the next one.
That, yes, and there will be some to do. No, you don't have anything, Bob, do you?
Nope.
Okay. Correspondence and communication, if not, none will be. Okay, I haven't either.
No, sir.
Okay, well, that leaves us for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay,
Second?
been motion and accept, and second for acceptance of adjournment, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye. Okay, thank you.
Question, Bob. On the juvenile thing,
Yeah.
how many counties participated?
There's 20 or 21 counties participating in it.
So in that thing that you were talking about, is that Bob Lincoln's area, or is that all participating counties?
Bob Lincoln has 8 of these counties.
So is it
It's
just-
going to be 90% of the people that they'll house will be people that come through probably Allen Hospital in Waterloo, which I think we send some people down there. All the 8 counties that Bob is working with will have a part of this.
So it's basically Bob's area is
It's his area plus a lot of other counties, because I think his area is 8, and I think there's 20 or 21.
Bob, isn't the challenge the fact that we're always getting changes in the state law, and the direction they want to take is different between incarceration, rehabilitation, house arrest, etc. You never have a consistent pattern. That's why I think it's seen not only in this area but in jails. You know, so many jails built in the late 90s and early 2000s, you know, to try to meet a need for bed space. And then another big change in the law, which makes it very difficult for the local governments to plan, because you know you have a lot of beds and you have a lot of need, and then all of a sudden you don't because the law's changed.
Well, not only that is they have a lot of people that have severe mental problems, and they'll end up going to the hospital. In the hospital, probably $1,000 to $1,500 a day. They can take them to this facility, and for probably less than $200 a day, they'll be able to stay there. The thing that surprised me, and I didn't realize until we had the meeting, is it's not a lockdown facility. These people will be able to leave if they want to. But they think most of them will want to stay there just for their own health. So it's a whole new program. As far as I'm concerned, if Bob Lincoln's doing it, it's got a really good chance of making it, because he's really sharp.
You know, the big problem is the incarceration issue of substance abuse. The
people and mental health people. You know, that's been a long-standing issue, not only with the mental health community, but with law enforcement. And
As in, where do they take them, which place?
well, not only that, but the appropriateness, you know, of putting mental health and substance abuse people together, and whether that's an appropriate setting, because obviously they're two different issues. They're sometimes they're both the same, but
And another thing, might add, Iowa Falls and Fort Dodge, their hospitals have both closed their psychiatric wings. So, you know, there's less places to go to, and, you know, this kind of a stopgap.
Well, what kind of care would these people get in the detention facility as opposed to if they were in a hospital?
They'll be overseen by people with the right credentials to work with the mental health.
Okay.
And it'll be manned 24 hours a day.
Okay.
And what it's, kind of what I get out of the thing is it's going to be a facility where the hospital, you know, after an evaluation, they're gonna sit there and say they need to be incarcerated somewhere, and quite honestly, quite a bit of the time anymore, the facilities are full that they need to go to. So this is a place for them to go to without having to spend $1,000, $1,200 a day, and
But it
they're
is
still monitored, they're still watched all the time.
But it is temporary,
It is a temporary.
until there's a hospital bed open for them.
And until the evaluation is done and the people decide what they want to do. Because we can't legally hold them there without them saying okay.
So they get a little bit more leniency as far as checking themselves in and out than
Yep.
they would like on 5E, so to say?
Yep.
oh yeah, it's not a lockdown facility
Not.
like that.
And,
But
Now, the other side where the juveniles are, that's a lockdown facility.
and the one word to key on is this evaluation. Sometimes it's been done redundantly. I hate to say this, but for whatever reason, a lot of them, for lack of a better word, repeat offenders. So they know the regimen that the gentleman or the lady would have to go through because of past experience. So instead of going, you know, 5 East is just a good example. You know, go there, go through the whole battery of tests, which they might have had done 6 months, 18 months ago, 2 years, 5 years ago. Well, they'll be able to, you know, use that data from prior to that. Yeah, it's.
But 5 East is a good example. 5 East is full.
Mm-hmm.
They can go there and basically be overseen, get
Yep.
treatment and so on.
Yep.
Until there's an opening, basically, at 5 East.
And,
Or
yeah,
similar facilities.
until the evaluation's done and they decide what they want to do with it. And it's a facility where they're watched.
And full is the key word. I don't know if it's been since I've been elected, but another one that used to have a psychiatric wing, which no longer does, Algona. So you got Algona, Iowa Falls, Fort Dodge, nada. And, you know, they gotta go somewhere, and, you know, for
So
mercy.
how big is that facility down there bed-wise?
Yeah.
There's two sections, both sides are 15-bed units. The juvenile detention side's been, I think they average like 12 or 13 this year.
Okay.
So
It's not a full.
it's a long ways from full. And this will give them an option because
that can participate in that program.
Well,
But the whole idea, though, is to try to find the appropriate setting for someone, so hopefully they don't have to go to 5 East, or they don't have to have a more restrictive setting, because as Bob said, the more restrictive the setting, the more costly it is. The idea, of course, is to try to find the right set of circumstances so their health improves, and they're able to resume some sort of normal life. You know, obviously, you have case managers who follow these people usually, but you know, if you get treatment to them early and you get them in the right setting, then you avoid the problems that happen later on. And when you have a person in a more restrictive setting later on, as Bob said, the costs per day are just, you know, astronomical. That's an issue that counties have dealt with. I mean, all the years I've been here, and it's real challenging. And I'm real glad that we've got somebody like Bob Lincoln, who does an outstanding job, and you know, is just dedicated solely towards these issues on a 24/7 basis, because he certainly gives us a.
He's kind of the ace in the hole, isn't it?
Oh, he really is.
You guys aren't mental health experts, but he is.
No, yeah, that's right, and nor should we be, and
yeah.
and he's the kind of guy that you know, he's put together this model, this regional model, which I think the state is willing to buy into here in the upcoming legislative session and adopt. And if you can demonstrate that you can do it at the regional level, you can pool the resources and the dollars and still provide the care, and yet have that person with that web of office workers, support people, support staff. If you have that all in place, you know, that's a great asset to be able to have, because you can call on those resources when you need them, you know, no matter which one of the counties you have here. So Bob does a great job, and it was a brilliant idea on his part to, you know, to plan it that way and to begin to develop this process. And the state's really looking real hard at trying to accommodate that statewide.
You men of the press, it goes back to the there's been articles written at the lack of psychiatrists. You know, there's, you know, in the medical world, we have those nurses that are what do they call them?
Nurse practitioners.
Nurse practitioners. Well, they're trying to get that so a psychiatric nurse practitioner, because there's no psychiatrists in the state of Iowa for whatever reason. I'm exaggerating. There's a few, but they're just not here. And then that bottlenecks is probably why we're talking about that now. It goes back to the lack of psychiatric care in Iowa. And for whatever reason, they just go to greener pastures. Well, I'll tell you what it is, to be honest with you. It's that Medicare, Medicaid reimbursement. Here in Iowa, it's the lowest rate. So if you want to get your license and practice, you're going to go to a state where you get more fairly compensated. And you know, when I say the poor people, I mean poor body, mind, and soul, and that way. So the government has to take up, you know, paying for the individuals. A lot of times there's dual diagnosis, mental health and substance abuse, and there's no money to recoup other through the government, and it's such a low reimbursement. The guys don't practice here.
But if you look at Dr. Larson and his wife used to work at the mental health center. They've left. They left the community. I think they're in Idaho now, and they're practicing out there. But so I can think of Dr. Lacease.
Yes.
And
One
other person. I've just moved north of Mason City here a few months ago. Who's a psychiatrist too.
At the Blackmore.
Yeah, out there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, at that. Well, not his name is not Blackmore, but it's.
Okay. I think of Dr. Blackmore now.
Yeah. Well, anyway, there are just a handful of them around now, and it's difficult to get treatment. It's difficult to schedule, do all that. So anyway,
yep.
Probably.
And there's
exhausted that stuff.